sports fans? This is Robert with WTP Sports Dudes here live on this rainy Sunday morning here in Columbus, Ohio, ready to do another edition of Talking Sports Sunday where we're going to recap week 8 in college football and a little bit of other things. I got my man SEC Sean with me here this morning. How you feeling, SEC Sean?
Good. This weather got me messed up. Had some insane football yesterday. Man, we could be on this show for 6 hours and not cover it all. But we're gonna do our best. We're gonna give our best to break it down how we feel and what's going on, so these sports fans out there can see what's going on.
Yeah, you're right about that. We had some serious college football action yesterday, plenty of scares, some top 10 losses. But it's what you want to see when you're watching college football. You want to see all of the dramatics. And I think we got quite a bit of it. Starting on Friday night when Miami went down and lost to the freaking Louisville Cardinals. What did you think about that game? And was Miami one of your better teams going into that game and they just didn't show up at home?
Yeah, I had Miami as my number 2 seed going into the playoffs. Louisville was good. I knew Louisville was good. I just didn't think Louisville could pull off the win at Miami. That makes the ACC just I mean, Georgia Tech and Virginia both still undefeated in conference. Don't believe those two schools play each other. So I have to go look and see. I'll have to look at the schedules and see who plays who out of Georgia Tech, Virginia, and probably still Miami moving forward. Because, Miami, whoever plays Miami next is not going to be fun. Miami's going to be, pretty pissed off. Kind of like what you saw from Oregon yesterday with Rutgers. Yeah. Rutgers just kind of got to be the brunt of that Indiana loss for Oregon. So I'm going to have to look at schedules and see how the round robin plays out with those Virginia Tech, Georgia, Miami, see how they all play out. It could be that none of them play each other. And then if Georgia Tech and Virginia run the conference table, does Miami get left out at 11-1? So I don't know. I thought Miami's defense would show up better than it did.
Yeah. Let's welcome my man T1 to the show. We're talking about that game on Friday night, Miami and Louisville. The number 3 ranked or 2 ranked Miami team going down to Louisville. What's your thoughts on that game? What did you see from Miami that gave you some serious question for concern with that team going forward, possibly dropping maybe another 1 or 2 more games? Oh, maybe he's not there yet. Maybe he's not ready to go. We'll wait and check in on T1 here in a little bit. I really felt like Louisville went in with a game plan, man, that really threw Miami off. They were able to run the football, and I think his name is Bain. They sort of stayed away from Mesidor for the most part, but they were going after Bain, especially on those outside zone runs. And they were able to gash them for some really good yardage. And the quarterback for Louisville, Miller Moss, I think is his name, he really managed that game well for them. He found him a number 1 receiver in Bale, and they really were able to do what they needed to do to win that game. And as FanDuel Zay always say, he thinks that Carson Beck, whenever you get him in a situation, he'll throw that ball to you and he'll throw some interceptions. And he did it to the tune of 4 interceptions on that night. He possibly could have had another 5 or 6, or threw 5 or 6 in that game. But I think Miami will rebound, like you said, and they will probably thump whoever they play next week, much like Oregon did Rutgers. So I'm anxious to see what this ACC is going to shake out to. But I think we got one of those questions in the chat. Let's see if he's ready to go,
Quick
man.
update. I looked up the schedules real quick.
My fault, fellas. I don't know what just happened.
We're just gonna call it. We're not gonna call it user error. We'll call it computer. We'll call it rain issues. That's what we're gonna call it. I looked up the schedules while you were giving your breakdown, Robert. Those three teams, Georgia Tech, Miami, and Virginia, do not play each other.
Oh, wow. So we can mess around and have 3 one-loss teams vying for the ACC championship game.
No, Georgia Tech's undefeated in conference. So is Virginia.
Oh, they're undefeated.
And so is Virginia in conference. So if those two win out, they'll play in the ACC championship game. That shifts Miami out. That's what I'm saying. Is there any way possible that an 11-1 Miami team could be stunned? You know? But we can get into that on a later on question. But that's just weird. I don't see an 11-1 Miami being left out, though.
Yeah, that's a good question for real. And just we have to see how this SEC and Big Ten thing pans out too, because then you can have a question of, can the ACC can they get 3 teams in? At one point we was talking about them only getting 1, and saying they definitely couldn't get 2. So now if it did go like that, if none of these teams lost another game in the regular season, shoot, how could you leave any one of them out?
Yeah, that is so true. Let's welcome the Post Game 86 podcast to the show. Post Game, we're talking about the fact that Georgia Tech can go undefeated in conference, Virginia can go undefeated in conference, and a one-loss Miami team could be left out of the ACC championship game. But will they also be left out of the college football playoffs, or will all 3 of those teams get in, possibly taking a spot from either the Big 12, the SEC, or possibly even the Big 10 as well? What do you think about that scenario?
Crazy scenario. First of all, good morning, fellas. It's good to see y'all in here. It's good to not be at work and be at home and be able to stream with y'all. But college football is just so damn exciting, man. We talk about it all the time. The margin for error is very slim. And you got the ACC, man. I believe, man, Miami, I know they slipped up Louisville Freaky Friday night, but I think, and they still had opportunities to win that game, probably playing the worst game of the season, their worst game of the season. I think Miami can bounce back, though. I think that team is way too talented. And I think as the season continues, some of those teams will fall off, a la Virginia. Georgia Tech has a chance to win out, but they do have Georgia. I don't think the committee is going to lead them out with 1 loss. But that ACC and the way it shakes out is going to be real interesting. The Big 12 just got real interesting with Texas Tech taking their first loss. So 12 teams, 12 bids may not be enough for the college football playoffs, or the players ball, as I like to call it.
Yeah, the way it's looking right now, as an SEC guy, the ACC getting 3 teams definitely, I think, in this instance might hurt the SEC, because right now they're starting to eat on each other. And you're going to have some teams that are going to possibly have 3 losses, definitely 2, and they're going to be trying to hope that the committee shows them some favor. But a 2-loss SEC team is not going to get any favor over a 1-loss Miami team that does not make the ACC championship game. I don't think that's going to happen. So you're liable to see 3 teams from the ACC getting in. And I don't think any of us was banking on that number from the ACC. We were thinking 2 or 1, 2 at the most. So, man, it's really going to be interesting going forward. Let's go ahead and talk about that Big 12 and Texas Tech taking their first loss. BYU stayed undefeated. Is the Big 12 in trouble of possibly only getting one team in the college football playoffs?
I don't know that they're in trouble because I think we all thought the Big 12 was a one bid league anyway. What I will say though is if you combine the two other Power Four conferences, not the SEC or Big Ten, I think you can pretty much pencil in now instead of maybe two bids for those two. I think you got to pencil in 3 or 4, and that's going to steal from the other two big ones. And I just to follow up on post game a second ago said, Georgia Tech probably going to take a loss when they play Georgia. Difference is that's not a conference game for Georgia Tech, so it wouldn't affect their conference standing for the championship game in the ACC. The Big 12 is wild, man. It's going to be like last year. It's going to come down to the last season. You're probably going to have coin flips and Whataburgers and In-N-Out burgers to try to figure out who's going to play where and who's doing what and what is going on. That's the wild conference right there. I have no idea what to make of it, but Tech losing takes a little luster off that conference.
Yeah, that Big 12 is, it's become extremely interesting. Coming into Saturday, I didn't think Texas Tech will lose a game. And then Arizona State gets the job done in a crazy fashion because they're on the verge of losing in the fourth quarter. But, man, Utah, BYU, Texas Tech, man, I could really see them getting 2 teams now, maybe 3. It all depends. But man, college football just got so much more interesting yesterday.
Yeah, it really did. You got anything to add to that, T1?
Yeah, that is very interesting. That 4 Big Ten team, 4 SEC team. It's not looking like that right now. It ain't looking like that right now. It's not looking good for one of those conferences not getting 4. And that's going to be a real big argument if that end up being the SEC, and you know how they feel about the SEC. They have 15 ranked teams. So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they're definitely going to make it very interesting for the SEC, in my opinion, because you're going to have some SEC teams that's going to have 2 to 3 losses. And would a committee even think that they're better than a 1-loss or a 2-loss Big 12 team? A 2-loss, probably so. But a 1-loss, it's going to be hard to make that argument to put a SEC team over them, even though we feel like they might be playing a weaker level of football. But it's going to be interesting, man. Will somebody get popped? Like, will BYU take an L? Will Texas Tech take another L? Will Arizona State take another L? Because I think they only got 1 loss in conference play as well. It's very, very interesting right now. So I guess we got 6 weeks to figure it out. I think we got 6 more weeks of regular season going. But Texas Tech was definitely a team I thought was going to, outside of Ohio State, had the best chance of going undefeated at this point in the season. But Ohio State is alone right now. I don't think anybody else in the Power 4 has a chance to go undefeated outside of Ohio State at this point.
I don't think, real quick, I don't think any conference is right now. I don't think any conference is above anybody. I think you got some good football being played out here. I think the field is as level as it has been in a very long time. And I know I'm a homer, but I'm being homer honest. When you look, there's only one dominant team out here, and that's Ohio State. Only one team you can look at and say, hey, somebody's going to have trouble beating them. They're going to have to catch Ohio State slipping.
Yeah.
I
That's
like
very
the
true.
honesty. I like the honesty, T1.
Hey,
I
bro,
like
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it real. I know I'm a homer. Sometimes I look at myself and I just say, "You got it bad," and then I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing about it.
Just a real quick on that. Don't sleep on Houston.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
have an easy path to go run the table out, which would put them at 11-1 with their only loss to Texas Tech. They don't. Everybody else, Cincinnati, Tech, BYU, Utah, they all are playing each other. Houston don't have to play. Houston's got. Let me look what Houston got real quick. I just looked it up. I jumped off real quick. Houston's got Arizona State, who could beat. Okay, we'll give them that. West Virginia, UCF, TCU, and Baylor. They don't have any ranked teams left to play. If Houston plays up to their level, Houston could run that table and find themselves in the Big 12 championship game.
Amazing. But I think what you'll see from this season, because there'll be a lot of disappointing teams when they decide the college football playoff seedings. There'll be a lot of disappointing teams, and as T1's been arguing for, I think through the summer leading up to the season, is that 16 team playoffs. You're gonna see it take effect because of how much parity we have and the way the season ends. There's going to be a lot of deserving teams left out of the playoffs this season, and I think it's going to kick off that 16 team playoff.
Yeah, I agree. Let's look at this next question in the ACC. Can you make heads or tails of the ACC? Miami Falls, is Georgia Tech your favorite?
Does Tech play Miami?
No. Them Virginia.
Before
And,
you jumped on, I gave it out. Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Miami don't even play each other. None of those three play each other.
Bro, that's oh my goodness.
And to have Georgia Tech, that's why I was saying Georgia Tech and Georgia won't matter for the conference. But Georgia Tech and Virginia, if they run undefeated, pushes Miami out of the ACC title game.
Bro, that's ugly.
Right.
That's really ugly. Oh man. And then can we didn't mention Louisville. We didn't mention Louisville. Did SMU hold off Clemson last night?
Yeah.
Wow. Man, the ACC is a mess.
I believe SMU Miami play this week.
Wow. That's a must win for Miami. And I still think Miami is going to bounce back, man. That's just too talented of a team, man.
Sorry, it's 2 weeks. Sorry.
I think they'll bounce back. I think Miami is going to run the table.
Who does Miami play next? Because they're going to kill them.
Stanford.
Whoever they play next. Yeah, it's going to be a massacre.
That's what I said earlier.
It's going to be a massacre. It's going to be like what Oregon did to Rutgers yesterday with their taking their anger out on somebody.
Yeah, speaking of Stanford, Rob, how about Stanford beating Florida State last night?
Yeah. Well, two people on this show was telling this certain person to pump the brakes and be humble and all that other stuff, man. And I don't blame you for riding high, but man, I think we all saw signs that Florida State wasn't quite there. After they beat Alabama, we sort of seen the signs that they might have had some kinks in their armor. That there was going to be some things that once teams had some tape on you, they was going to be able to expose. And we talked about it. Will they be able to, once they get punched in the mouth, will their mindset be to fold like they did all last season, or will they say, "Okay, I got hit in my mouth. I got to start punching back, and hit some people in the mouth myself"? And we are not seeing that. They take what's that? 4 losses now. You got to let Norvell go. You got to let him go. You can't bring in those 2 coordinators that he brought in to help them win games, and they already got 4 losses. And this is only what, week 7, week 8? Yeah, week 8. And you already got 4 losses halfway through. They got to go ahead and part ways with him and get them somebody else in there, in my opinion.
Well, do you think they'll let him go like mid-season, like now, or do you think they'll wait till the off-season?
Man, I'm a firm believer in if Penn State let go of Franklin, that's a prominent team right there in Penn State. It got to be ASAP, Jack, because Penn State is already out there looking for the dude that they want. And if they pluck the best dude out there or the best dude that's in the college ranks that's willing to go somewhere else, it puts you behind the 8 ball, and then you have to settle for somebody that you may not necessarily want because you're not going to be able to pluck some of the major coaches who are at major universities right now. You're going to have to try to find the best guy out there available, and Penn State's already got a head start on some teams. Even though Arkansas fired their coach, Penn State is a better job than Arkansas.
Yeah,
So
totally
I
agree.
think they need to do it ASAP, Jack.
So here's the question. Does Coach Prime stick to his biblical roots and forgive Florida State? Or does he say, I'm the Bible ain't got nothing to do with this? This personal. I ain't coming to save y'all. What Coach Prime gonna do?
I believe if Florida State reached out to Coach Prime, he wouldn't turn them down. He wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, think about it. That's his alma mater. I think he'll be able to attract and recruit better players out of Florida State. I think he's starting to realize, if he already hasn't, that Colorado was just a springboard. I mean, you can't really he can't really get the type of players he needs in order to be successful at Colorado. Florida State, it would be much easier for him. And I think that job is tailor made for Coach Prime. So long as his health is holding up, which I pray it does, I think Florida State is tailor made for Coach Prime, and I don't think he would turn them down.
But they didn't want him last time. Last time they didn't want him. They didn't want the alumni. They didn't want Coach Prime.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. If Coach Prime is going to forgive them or not, because they had an opportunity to get Coach Prime, but they didn't believe in Coach Prime.
Yeah, and I mean, I think understandably so. I think they were looking at it like, okay, you did this at a HBCU, which is I'm not downgrading that, but it's levels. Florida State is one of the prominent colleges in football. And I know it sort of looks like, okay, I tried to holler at this girl, she didn't give me no play. But then I went bossed up. Now she circled the block and she trying to holler at me now. That's sort of how it looks like. But I don't think Coach Prime would turn down the offer from Florida State. I just don't, man. It makes too much sense. And I think
Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just think he knows he can't win at Colorado. I just think he knows that. So go ahead, SAC.
That's what brought up when you mentioned his health, which that's more important than anything else. But he can miss time at Colorado to go take care of all this. And Colorado would hire him. He could stay there forever. But is Florida State going to be okay with him missing that much time? Because, that's a much bigger traditional school. If he's like, hey, I got to be out for 6 weeks to go get this treatment, I ain't going to be able to do nothing. I get you have a coaching staff, but is Florida State going to be okay with that? That's a question, and that's just playing devil's advocate for this. I think Deion in Florida State makes great sense, but if I wanted to play devil's advocate, that'd be my question. Can Florida State take the risk on the health issue?
Yeah, that was going to be my point as well. But I'm looking at it from the other side. I think Prime would say to itself, I don't want to do this program in Florida State a disservice by not being able to be there full time because my health isn't what it is, and I wouldn't want to put them in a bind. But I'll guarantee you, he would love to have that job. He's not holding any grudges against Florida State for not taking him from Jackson State. Just from what I believe about him as a human being, I don't think he will hold that against Florida State because he understands the dynamic of big-time football coaching. But I will hope that, man, he will be able to make that thing work because I would love to see him at Florida State. I would love it. And the guys that he's going to bring to Florida State with him in terms of coaches and players will already be guys that he knows what his style of coaching and things, and he'll be able to do some things there at Florida State. Will they win the ACC in his first year? Probably not, but they will be better than what their record is right now, I believe. And he'll be able to start to put a little fence around the state of Florida, which my Texas Longhorns will probably be a little bit upset about that. Georgia will probably be a little bit upset about that. And any other team that has been able to go into Florida here lately and get a couple of their skilled players up out of there.
I wouldn't say that Coach Prime couldn't go to Florida State and win the ACC off the rip with the transfer portal and all of that because you can't get transfers into Colorado the way that you can get them into Tallahassee. So I could see Coach Prime if he went to Florida State getting right to a ACC championship game and getting right to the playoffs. I could see that.
Yeah, I mean, hell's possible. It's possible.
Sig did it with Indiana.
Yeah, Sig. Yeah. I mean, listen, I keep telling everybody, bro, that's the blueprint. Sig gave y'all the blueprint on how to go to another conference and be relevant. Now, this is 2 years in a row he's been relevant. And he ain't just been relevant. He's been very, very, very relevant.
Number 2 team in the country.
Yes, sir.
And probably going to stay there because until the Big Ten championship game, and they probably only move down to number 4 after they get beat by Ohio State. Homer.
Mossberg said they need Prime ASAP.
We know Moss want Prime.
Yeah, for sure. Let's turn our attentions to the SEC. Texas A&M gave up 42 points to Arkansas. Who's your favorite to win the SEC? Alabama, Texas A&M, or Georgia?
Man, listen, I don't think it's any shame in giving up 42 to Arkansas. Arkansas, if you look at the statistics, is one of the better offenses in the country. They are not one of the better teams in the country. They are one of the better offenses in the country, led by Taylor Green. The only team that really set that offense down, not to brag, but was Notre Dame. Every other team Arkansas hung points on. In the SEC right now has to be Alabama. I think Texas A&M is second, followed by Georgia. The SEC is going to be real interesting. Can one of those two lost teams kind of stay afloat? Rob, can your Longhorns stay afloat and make a run for it at the end of the season? I don't know. This is college football, man. There upsets happen. We saw that yesterday. But yeah, definitely right now. And what a difference a few weeks make. Because after week one, people were saying, who's Alabama's next coach going to be? And look what they've done since that Florida State loss. So you got to give it up to Bama. They just barbecued Tennessee, and that's my favorite for the SEC right now. But Texas A&M, I think it'll be Alabama and Texas A&M for the SEC championship game right now.
Yeah, I definitely think that in that same order. I think Alabama right now is probably playing the best football, the most complete football. Ty Simpson is really throwing the ball really well. As long as Jam Miller is there now, if Jam Miller is not there, and Texas A&M has their running back Moss, then it's a different Texas A&M offense with him and Reuben Owens. So I think Texas A&M is really, really close second. But if I had to pick one right now, I would say Alabama is probably playing the best football. Um, Out of those three, Georgia is probably a distant third in the SEC. But I definitely like Texas A&M and Alabama the most.
I didn't know if T was going to say something or not, but you're right. Post game, Arkansas is a top 5 offense, and let me tell you something. If you ain't watched that quarterback, go watch that kid. He's, I think, 6'4", 230, and runs 22 miles an hour. Or 21.4. Dude, and they got some backs that are just y'all up north probably know more, but there was a running back used to play for the Cowboys, Marion Barber. Went to Minnesota, I believe.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Right? Mm-hmm. You remember in the fourth quarter games, even in the NFL level, people didn't want to tackle that dude. That's Arkansas's running backs. They're big and powerful. Arkansas' problem is they can't stop nobody. I told y'all going into this on Thursday night, this game scared me. I told y'all that. I told y'all any road game in any conference is hard. And you had a 2-hour weather delay, which pushed everything back. You're in Arkansas, Zay's even said it. Playing an interim coach is scary. And those kids fought for Petrino. They just don't have the talent on defense. And I'm going to tell you, you better watch E.J. Smith, Emmitt Smith's son. That kid has taken over the Le'Veon Moss role of the bruising back. Kind of the Thunder Lightning. Reuben Owens and Jamarian Morrow are your Lightning, and you got him and Amari Daniels as more of your Thunder. We still got a stable of running backs. I mean, we still rushed for 217 yards without our best running back. Again, it's against Arkansas, so take that for what it's worth. I might have been able to rush for maybe 20 yards if you give me about 30 carries. Marcel Reed looked really good yesterday. I see the question coming up in a little bit, but that's a name you might need to throw into the hat for that trophy at the end of the year. We'll know more. I need A&M to go 1-1 in the next week. Next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. The next 2 games, they need to go 1-1. If they go 1-1, you can pretty much pencil A&M into the college football playoff because they'll finish 10-2. Right now, Alabama is top of the SEC. They're playing the best. I still have A&M second, not so. Georgia's third. I think you're right. I think it's the top three, and then it's kind of a gap to 4 or 5, which would probably be Ole Miss, Vandy. Vandy looked really good. So we'll see, but that's probably I think you have the top 3, then a fall off to 4 or 5, then you have a fall off even further to 6 through 10, and then from there it's just bottom feeders, as Zay likes to say. We'll see what happens. Not too upset about giving up 42. I thought it'd be a high-scoring shootout game, and I liked our chances because I just knew they couldn't stop us.
And I know, real quick, Rob, let me make this point. I know a lot of people, sometimes people will look at a game and say, oh, well, y'all gave up 40 plus points. But a lot of times people miss this. Can your team win in multiple ways? Can they win a defensive game? Can they win a low scoring game? Can they win a shootout? So there's some positives in that. I don't want people to just look at, oh, they gave up X amount of points. No, they proved they can win that style of football.
And Scooby, thanks for tuning in. He said, go Dogs. Okay, yeah, go Dogs.
To follow up on that post, I heard you say earlier about Notre Dame. The only difference I see in that Notre Dame game versus any other Arkansas game was the game Pittman got fired after, and that team just flat out quit. When Notre Dame, and don't get me wrong, Notre Dame made them quit. But that team had no fight in that second half. They didn't even care. They were just walking through the motions at that point. So if they play again, would the score be the same? I don't think so. I think Arkansas would put up more points on them, but I still think Notre Dame wins. That's just how I'm looking at that. But you're right, what they did to A&M after A&M beat Notre Dame makes Notre Dame look that much better, which in turn helps A&M. So I'm good either way.
Let's welcome my man Parlay Poet of Blitzburg Podcast to the show. Right now, we're talking about the SEC and the teams that we think are the top 3 teams in the SEC between Alabama, Texas A&M, and Georgia. Most of us said that we believe Alabama's probably right now the best team, with a close second being Texas A&M and Georgia being right behind them. What's your thoughts on the SEC? And if you have any thoughts on the ACC, what's happening there, and the Big 12, you can give us those thoughts as well.
Well, we can just talk about the SEC right now. Yeah, it's the 3 y'all was talking about. That's the 3 I will put up at top. But right now, Bama's on fire. They found out what they have to do to make Ty Simpson better. Their receivers is nice. And from Ryan Williams to being the best receiver on that team to Bernard being the best receiver on that team. You know what I mean? But now they still have to find somebody to run that rock. They don't have no healthy, stout running back like they used to be having. But right now, they're the 3 top.
Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Sports Destroy Wiffle ball game. He said Notre Dame is good and they should be a top tier team. The way they're playing right now, yeah, they are. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channels that you see here right now, and then we got some more channels scrolling across the bottom. Please subscribe to those as well. Let's go and take a look at the Big Ten and what we saw yesterday. And let me get your thoughts on this question. It looks like Ohio State and Indiana are on a path to play in the Big Ten championship game. Can Indiana hang with the Bucks?
No.
Yeah, he's going to say no.
Already know. You already know, Poe. Short and sweet.
Of course you're going to say no, but it's going to have to be a game. If Sig, the coach, all y'all think he is, he have to find out a time to beat the guys like this. Like Franklin had this problem. You know what I mean? Like Indiana's always good starting out, but the second half of the game, after halftime, people figure out who Indiana really is. But for Sig to be that coach that everybody want him to be, he had to figure out who the good teams are, how to figure out the good teams are all through the game and make in-game adjustments. See, Sark was good at that previously, but now Sark, I don't know what's wrong with Sark, is not being good with in-game adjustments. Sig have to be good with the in-game adjustments to beat teams like Ohio State.
Can they hang with Ohio State? Absolutely. Can they beat Ohio State? That's a different question. I think Indiana has everything you need to hang with the Ohio State University. Strong quarterback play, great coaching, a defense that can play. So if the question is just hang, absolutely. I think Indiana can hang with Ohio State. And we definitely gonna find out because I think they are on a collision course.
I agree with the way you put that right there, Post. They can hang with them. But that's all they're going to do is hang, have a beer or something. That's it.
I mean, the thing is, there's going to be a whole lot of film out there, and I'm quite sure that Ohio State is going to make some adjustments. But of course, Indiana is going to make some adjustments as well. I think with all the film that's going to be out there, both of those teams are going to be able to find some things that they can exploit. But I think Indiana will get them a good game, especially if their defense can play solid and maybe stop the run. Take away one of the options. You're either going to be able to play the pass or stop the run. I think the best chance is to stop the run than it is to stop that passing game. But if they can do that and get some pressure on the quarterback and make Ohio State one-dimensional, they might be able to stay in the game. But they also gotta limit possessions. If you're going to beat Ohio State, you got to keep that offense on the sideline as long as possible. Try to limit them to 8 or 9 possessions if you can in the game, and try to keep that thing close and play really, really good red zone defense and force Ohio State to have to kick field goals. If they can do that, they can definitely make it a game. But I like the Indiana team, man, more than I liked them at the beginning of the season. I had to come around on them. I guess Van Duzel was in my ear enough that I had to come around on that Indiana team. I got to give him some love. He believes they're the second best team in the country. That's Van Duzel saying that.
Indiana can hang for sure with that offense. All it takes is a couple of explosive plays here and there to keep the game close. You know, can they hang? Yes. Can they win? I agree with both. No, I don't think so. I think a game like that where you have, let's just say, the number 1 and 2 ranked teams in the country, I think it's going to come down to coaching, and I would trust Ohio State's coaching staff over Indiana's right now. They just won a national championship and then upgraded their defense. Their defense is better than last year. So I think Indiana could keep it close for about a half, but I think Ohio State wears them down in the second half and then kind of pulls away. Just how I would see it.
Yeah, and as of right now, there's only one possible team that could possibly beat Ohio State. Only one.
There's more than one.
No, Homer's telling y'all it's only one team that could possibly beat Ohio State. That Ohio State fans look out at the college world, and it's only one team. Anybody know who that team could possibly be?
Michigan.
That's it. And just being completely honest.
Man, I thought he was fixing to be the ultimate homer and say the only team that can beat Ohio State is Ohio State.
Hey, SEC. Now, that's it's in my hip pocket. It's in my hip pocket, but I want to, most of the time, I want to just keep it real. And I'm just being honest. It's not a team that I look at out here and worry about. And Michigan has a freshman quarterback. I still got to be worried about them just because they Michigan.
Yeah.
Not worried, but that's a team that I'm not going to go into the game saying, hey, we about to beat them.
They unleashed.
Go ahead, Parlay.
But they unleashed my boys yesterday. Go ahead, Bings.
They released who?
I said they unleashed my boy yesterday. They let him play.
Oh yeah. Good. After seeing what we saw yesterday, man, y'all got over and under 1.5 teams with 3 losses making the college football playoffs. Over and under 1.5 teams with 3 losses making the college football playoffs.
Man, that committee's so messed up, man. They don't got it right. I'm gonna say it's gonna be some three lost teams in that CFB, man. Trust me.
Are you saying?
I'm saying it'll probably be like. See that 0.5 is different. I'm saying it's gonna be probably at least like one. There's gonna be 1 3-loss team in there. So it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm saying it's only going to be possibly one.
Yeah,
and we already know where that 1 3-loss team going to come from. If they do decide to let a 3-loss team into this playoff, a 3-loss team has no business inside of a 12-team playoff. But we know how much they love a certain conference, and that's the only place a 3-loss team will come from and be able to play in the playoffs. So that's under.
I'm gonna take the under. I think what you're gonna find at the end of the season is a log jam of 2-loss teams. I don't think a 3-loss team is going to make it this year.
Mm-hmm. What if that 3-loss team beat 2 of the teams ahead of them that only has 2 losses?
If that happens, I guess I guess it will be a 3-loss team in, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think there's gonna be too many good 2-loss teams. They gonna have a hell of a decision on their hand when they make this bracket at the end of the season. T1. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that room deciding. I would, man. They should just wave the magic wand and be like, okay, y'all, we doing 16 this year. It's just too many teams, man.
It is. They don't want to see no blowouts either this year. That's why they trying to fix that. They don't want to see no bad playoff games, man.
I think it's gonna be some. I think almost all of the playoff games are gonna be bangers because I think that the playing field is leveled out even more. I think we're gonna have some bangers in this one.
What, like you said, the higher seed get the home game, right?
Yep.
5 through 8.
Yeah. Okay.
I want a home game. I don't like that. I don't want to buy. I want to play a game in the shoot. That was beautiful.
Now y'all gonna get a neutral.
Right. Yeah, y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna get a bye. Yeah, we'll get a bye.
Yeah, I don't. I think the games this year in the playoffs will be better because you're not doing that conference champion gets the 1, 2, 3. It's just seeding.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you're going to have much better matchups in the first round, at least. I don't know about that. I mean, I don't think a 3-loss team deserves to be in the playoffs. But let's say Indiana were to drop 2 games or 3 games, or Oregon drop 2 more. Are you going to leave them out over a 2-loss ACC or Big 12 team based on strength of, if the committee does what they say with the strength of schedule, are you going to leave a 3-loss Alabama team out over a 2-loss Cincinnati? You know, these are the things that you're right. I would not want to be on that committee. I don't think a 3-loss team deserves to be in, but I know you could make a case for it out of one of those two conferences. I mean, obviously, I don't see a 3-loss ACC or Big 12 team getting in, but a 3-loss Big 10 or SEC school could have an argument about, hey, look at our schedule strength. So if it was going to happen, this I think would be the year it did happen, where you had a 3-loss team in. I don't know about 2, but I could see one this year as wide open as people are beating everybody, and you know, nobody would have thought that Miami was going to lose to Louisville or Stanford. You know, there's just so many different upsets going on right now that this would be the year I could see a 3-loss team. And then, of course, if it goes to 16 next year, you'll definitely have a 3-loss team.
Man, the only scenario where I see, I'm thinking none will make it, but the only scenario I can see is if Alabama loses one of their conference games, but still make the freaking SEC championship game, and then they lose. Do you punish them for losing in the SEC championship game when if they didn't play in it, they only would have had 2 losses and would have been ranked in the top 11 to even make the college football playoffs? Do you punish them for losing in their conference championship game? Or any other scenario with any other conference? Are you going to punish a team who lost the non-conference game by, and then lose a conference game and have the 2 losses that way, and then play in their championship game and take their 3rd loss? Will they get punished for that? Will the committee look at them and say, hey, nah, they played in their conference championship game. This team got 2 losses, and they might be 2 losses in conference, and we can't allow them to make the daggone college football playoffs. And then I wonder, how would that affect Notre Dame being a team with 2 losses and not being in a conference or playing in a conference championship game? I think Notre Dame is probably going to have to get up around in the top 7 by the end of the season in order to probably be 100% safe. Maybe even 8. But anything below that, they might find themselves in a predicament situation if those championship games in those conferences have a team with 2 losses in it and they end up losing. Do you put them on the outside of Notre Dame, which is going to be kind of tough? That's the only scenario I see where a 3-loss team gets in there.
Yeah, but y'all don't like what T1 said? That's a good scenario. What he said, that is a good scenario.
What did he say again? Repeat it real quick.
He said if the teams ahead of the one team, they got 3 losses, but they beat them 2 teams ahead of them. And will you think they'll get in? A SEC or Big 10 team will get in before an ACC or Big 12 team, a 3-loss team. But the teams be ahead of them, though.
Yeah, if those 2 teams are that they beat are ranked ahead of them, at that point they getting in ahead of them. I don't think they're gonna jump them, because why they need to do it beforehand. Because if they don't do it beforehand, then you saying you don't think they're better than them right now, then how can you make them better than them after you decide to make who gonna make this college football playoff? They're gonna have to put them ahead of those 2 teams before that point. Because if they're ahead of them in the rankings, then they're not gonna jump them. I don't think they should jump them if you ain't already got them jumping them. That would be that's a good scenario though. It's a really good scenario.
You got to remember, who did you lose to? Look at Ole Miss last year. Ole Miss looked pretty good last year, but they lost to who? Kentucky. If Texas would have lost to Kentucky last night, they wouldn't be. You're out of the playoffs. Anybody that loses to Kentucky should be out of the playoffs.
Is
But-
this such thing of a bad win?
Oh,
Oh,
you
no.
saw it yesterday.
maybe.
Yeah, like,
You saw
Yeah.
it yesterday. That was a bad
I mean,
win.
I would say yes. I would say yes, Parlay. I would say, yeah, there's a bad win. I think Texas was a bad win. I almost think Missouri would. I'll give Missouri a little different because I was at Jordan Hare at Auburn last night, and that's a tough place to play. So yeah, I'd say there's a bad win, and there's also bad losses.
I don't think there's a such thing as a bad win. I think there's not impressive. There's wins that aren't impressive, but a win is a win in college football. It's only so many games.
I'm just looking at the committee. What the committee? I'm thinking from the committee side that I would consider if I had to consider a Texas team who versus I don't know, say I don't even know what other team. Just pick any other random team. But if you look at their schedule and you realize, okay, well, this team, beat Kentucky by 20 and Texas beat them by 3 in overtime, I'd lean a little more to the team that beat them by 20. So that's how I feel a bad win, not necessarily from a fan or whatever, but from a committee point of view, that's how I would view that. And Texas has a bad loss, too, to Florida.
Yeah, that's starting to look like a really bad loss, too.
Just like Bama has a really bad loss to Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's hey, I know Mossberg. I know they beat my Steelers, but hey, somebody need to call and check up on Moss every hour, man. Every hour. To Stanford? Come on, man.
Yeah, he been in the chat. Yeah, he been in the chat today. So
yeah,
yeah. Catch him with some Tito's, I guess.
Yeah.
Let him drown in sorrows.
You know he like he like that broccoli. He like that broccoli. He like that broccoli and that coffee. You know what I mean? Like I might have to go bring him a care package wherever he at.
Right. Right now, who y'all got? Ty Simpson or Julian Sain as your Heisman Trophy front runner?
Well, you gotta go with the undefeated guy right now. I'm always go with the undefeated guy.
Man, that's tough, man, because I do like undefeated teams when you talk about Heisman. But man, Simpson he dealing right now.
He is.
He dealing, man. That is tough. But I mean, it all depends on how you look at the Heisman race. Some people factor in wins and losses. As long as your losses are not egregious, I think a 1-loss team, 2-loss team. But if you're talking about specifically these two, I tend to lean towards the undefeated guy. So I'm gonna get a slight edge to saying, but this Heisman race is nowhere near wrapped up.
No. So what they say the Heisman is the best college football player, right? So you know what I mean? That can go to a lot of things.
This is not a homer because I hate Alabama, but I think Ty Simpson. I think he's I think he's just done better. I think it's 1 and 1A. Don't get me wrong, but I think that what Ty Simpson has done. I mean, Sayin probably has the best defense in America behind him. So even if he makes mistakes, they'll cover it for him. So I think what Ty Simpson's been doing is pretty crazy. But it's definitely 1 and 1A. But I still, after our game yesterday, I still think even though the team is terrible, somebody needs to look at that Talon Green kid for some. That dude. And don't sleep on Diego Pavia down at Vanderbilt. He got a little bit of that Johnny Manziel to him, and we all know Manziel won it.
Yeah, he got a lot of Johnny in him.
Yeah.
He got a lot of Johnny Manziel in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is the love? Where is the love for saying? What are y'all doing here? Are y'all not watching football? Are y'all not watching football? Are y'all not watching this young man spin this ball? He is at nearly 80% passing out of his 15, I believe, touchdowns, how many ever he has. 7 of them are for 30 yards or more. So that means he's also throwing the long ball. He's not just dinking and dumping. Man, if this kid continue this, there's absolutely no way that you don't give this kid the Heisman and the opportunity to be the next back-to-back 2-time Heisman winner. This kid is blowing stuff up, y'all. I think y'all missing something. Say that again.
Nobody never gonna win a Heisman 2 times in a row ever again.
Hey, and you know, we thought that Tebow had a chance after he got it after his sophomore year. He had an opportunity. If you can win that baby young in the way that Sane is spinning his ball, if he continues to spin his ball like this and break the NCAA record for completion percentage and stay undefeated, man, it's gonna be easy voting.
I'm telling you right now, he would never get it twice in a row, ever.
We know that you would hate to see that, Poe. We know. We get it.
Happen. I'm trying to tell you. It's too much politics going into that. He would never get it.
It's too much politics. They don't ever want that to ever happen, ever.
But guess what? Politics get thrown out the window when you got stats to back it up.
Nah, it's gonna be something, bro. Trust me. It's
gonna be. If you want to go stat based, Sane has a better completion percentage, 80 to 70. Simpson has more passing yards. He has 18 touchdowns and 1 interception. Sane has 19 and 3. It's 1 and 1.
Those are some great numbers. Yeah, those are some great numbers.
Flip a coin. I think Alabama has played a tougher schedule that he's done it against, especially considering they lost their first game to a bad Florida State team, and he looked like trash in that game. But since then, against a slate of SEC competition, which I think he's played a tougher schedule than Ohio State. That's just my opinion. He's put up better numbers. I mean, not necessarily completion percentage, but everything else leans in his favor.
Yeah, that was going to be. Oh, go ahead, Parlay.
Yeah, and then it's crazy too because then like we already know Smith the best receiver in college, but what Simpson have is like his balancing out too with Ohio State. You know what I mean? We already know Schmitty, he number one, but with Bernard, Ryan Williams, and then who the guys Ohio State have? Yeah, who Ohio State and them have, it's like balancing out. And I like how Ty move in that pocket, but I still go with undefeated Sane. You know what I mean? I still would do that because he undefeated.
Yeah, if I was to go with Ty Simpson, it would be because he's played in some better matchups. Going on the road to Georgia and winning that game, going on the road to Missouri and winning that game, and just having playing against a better, even going to Florida State and playing on the road. Those are 3 road games in which, you know, he played well enough for their team to win, and he had a little bit more Heisman Trophy moments. Now, Julian Sane, you can't take anything away from what that young man is doing. He is throwing that rock. But if you're a voter, you're going to probably look at the level of competition that each one of them is playing. And Julian Sane was hurting him, I think, in my opinion, is the fact that he just hasn't played the schedule that Ty Simpson has played, even though he's balling out of his mind right now. And his ability to put that ball where it needs to be to the receivers that he has, even though they got to catch it, but he's putting it right where it needs to be. And I like Julian Sane, but I think that they will probably give it to Ty Simpson at this point because of the competition that he's played. He's had more Heisman Trophy opportunities than Julian Sand has had because of the level of competition that they both have played so far. Well, that's all the questions that I had in the chat. Now, unless there's some more in there that y'all see. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we wrap up? We're right past the hour and 6 minutes.
Don't forget the national media loves Alabama too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget that don't play a part in that Heisman vote. That you don't want to talk about your Longhorns, man?
Look, he wants to stay way back.
We can talk about them. We can talk about them.
I got a question too. After the Longhorns, I got a question too.
Man,
what you want to know, SEC, Sean?
That was nasty. I actually watched that game. I flipped back after the A&M game ended. Texas lost that game. I'm gonna tell you right now. If you don't have that punt returner, you lose that game. That's the only reason you were even tied in that game, is that kid. Who y'all got next week? Mississippi State at Mississippi State.
At Mississippi State.
And that might be an L for Texas. And then y'all turn around and got Vandy. Texas could be out of the playoffs in the next 2 weeks. And then you're going to have
very possible.
Texas was out the playoff 3 weeks ago. So,
but
very, very
you're going to see what's going to happen when you get old 7-5 Sark. How them boosters going to handle that? We're going to start talking about Sark on the hot seat?
It's possible. It's possible.
7-5 ain't going to fly in Austin, Texas. I can tell you that much.
Oh, that's a fact.
Sark is going to be our offensive coordinator in a second.
That's a fact. I would like to say that maybe they was looking past Kentucky and thinking about Vanderbilt and Georgia maybe, or maybe even Mississippi State. But I think what we realized, man, is that offensive line, it was breaking in another center because the starting center was out. We're starting a true freshman at right guard, and Kentucky understood, listen, we can't let them run the football. If they run the football, we don't have no chance in hell. So they was making sure that they was putting pressure on Arch Manning when he needed to throw, and they were stuffing us on first and second down, making it very, very difficult. And then Arch Manning was missing some throws again. And part of that is Steve Sarkisian's fault. You got to give this guy opportunity to make some easy throws to get his rhythm. He came out, and plus he came out throwing the ball a million times. I'm like, dude, establish the run first. Let these guys lean on some people, and then, you start passing. But he came out throwing the ball like crazy, which hurt us. But the defense, man, really saved the day. The kick returner, punt returner, and the freaking defense saved us in this game, which sometimes you got to win games like that, like post-game said. You got to be able to win in multiple ways. Mm-hmm. Is Texas better than Kentucky? Of course. Talent-wise, they are. But every year we see somebody go on the road and play in Kentucky. Kentucky either take them to the wire or beat them. They did it to Georgia. They did it to Ole Miss last year. And if you go look at every year, they've done somebody like that. And this year it was Texas. Luckily, we got out of there with the win. Hopefully, we can regroup and be ready to take on Mississippi State next week, which is going to be a really tough game for us because Mississippi State is not any slouches, especially when you're going against a Texas team whose run game is kind of suspect because their offensive line is not very good. Those guys miss way too many assignments. Way too many assignments.
Okay, let me switch it over to the league. What do your teams need to do today to get a win? It's some good games in the NFL this week. So post what your coach need to do to beat these Chargers.
Indianapolis Colts have a lot of injuries in that secondary, man. And our number one corner is out. And we got another corner out. I think the only healthy corner we have is our nickel back. So that worries me a little bit because we know what those Charger receivers can do. So the Colts, if they're going to beat the Chargers today, they have to stop the run. I know it sounds cliches, but it just is what it is. They have to stop the run and they have to rush the passer. They got to make Herbert uncomfortable in that pocket. And if they can do that, I know Jonathan Taylor's going to have a day. The Colts will be fine and they'll get a big win.
Black team already played this week.
Who your team in the NFL?
Cincinnati.
SEC? Huh?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati?
I've been a Bengal. Yeah, I was a Bengals fan even when I lived down in Texas.
Yeah, that's
Who
good.
they?
Mainly because they, when I played high school ball, their jerseys mimicked ours. Plus, they back then those days, boy, I'm dating myself. They had old Icky back there, and everybody loved watching Icky. So,
Yeah.
I became a Bengals fan back then. But what they need to do is fix their offensive line in this week. And then anytime you have a draft offensive linemen and quarterbacks with the first name of Joe. That's it.
Right.
I don't care if it's Joe
agree
Montana.
with
I don't
that.
care if it's Joe Pluto. I don't care if it's Joe Cool, the little Snoopy dog. I don't care. If his name Joe, draft him. I don't care.
Get him.
What your Browns need to do, T1? I guess he
My fault, y'all. The Browns need to get ready for next season and just see what they have. That's it. Defense is great. The defense as these L's keep on loading up, man, it's just hard for me to see the defense just continuing to, compete at this high level and knowing that you're not going to win the game.
any offense today, y'all can beat the turnover Dolphins. Any offense y'all show today, y'all can beat the turnover Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I mean, we could have won last week with any offense, with something. You
I
know, all
agree.
of those 3 and outs and 4 and outs that's man, that stuff is ugly.
Yeah.
I believe if y'all can just run the ball with Junkins and play y'all normal defense, y'all can beat the Dolphins.
Well, we're gonna see, and if they do beat the Dolphins, that puts Shador back on back deep on that bench for another few games. But if they struggle, man, will we see Shador today?
Hey, and the Titans got an up and coming Patriots team that's looking real good. No, so how y'all gonna beat them?
Didn't the Titans just get a win last week?
No, we lost last week, but we beat Arizona the week before. Yeah, well, we got an interim coach in there right now, man. Hopefully the team can be sparked behind that and get a win at home against the Patriots. Now, the way we've been seeing the NFL go, teams that we think is gonna get killed at home mess around and win. I'm hoping that we can get some of that magic today. And I really feel like, man, they just got to go out there and just play, man. What do we got to lose? We're probably the worst team in the NFL from top to bottom. We probably should be tanking, but why we need to tank? We need to get better as an organization, better as a team, and we got to help that young quarterback. And I think today we got a chance to upset the Patriots, man. And I'm not saying this as a homer. I just think that we could probably do that because we've been seeing it every week. Somebody has upset a team that they were not supposed to beat. And I think the Titans got a chance to do that today. And hopefully we can get some of that magic like the Panthers had against the daggone Atlanta Falcons and beat them 30-0.
Right. One thing I would say, I think y'all need to give Tajay Spears more touches, man. I don't think Pollard has the juice anymore.
I would agree with you. I would make Pollard more of a third down back, maybe. just for pass pro protection. But Spears will probably be my number one runner. And we need to get somebody in there for Snead, because Snead is toast. Paying him all that money, he over there getting killed.
Man.
Anything else y'all got before we wrap it up?
Nah, that's it. 14.
Why we didn't talk about the Michigan game or the Ohio State game? What's going on?
We didn't talk about the Irish either.
Yeah, why we got teams on here, and I don't care how much you love the SEC. It's still football being played out here.
That'll be a
and let me get that. I'm sorry, y'all. I just got to the truck.
Vandy was a 1.5 point favorite at home.
It's still, and I saw some good things when I watched both of those games. Michigan had a very, very impressive game yesterday and a very, very impressive win. So you even get to talk about Michigan like, hey, can they get up in these playoffs?
Just ask the question. I mean, we here on the show. Ask the question.
I'm gonna jump in real quick on all three of those, and then one more comment, and then I gotta bounce. I gotta get to the store and get prepped up for today. Michigan looked good, shutting down an explosive Washington defense. Give Michigan props. Our offense, sorry. Give Michigan some props on that. I think Washington might be a little bit more overrated than we thought too. They do have players, but they struggle. Ohio State, come on. What do you want me to say? That hadn't been said. They went on the road. They smashed Wisconsin. They did Ohio State things. They kind of just piddled with them. I mean, 17, what did they do? 17 and 17 in each half. I mean, it's Ohio State and it was Wisconsin. They did what Ohio State does to teams like that. They just take their soul away from them. Notre Dame got a little bit of a push from USC, but kind of kept them at arm's length, kind of like what A&M did to Arkansas. But Notre Dame ran all over them. Notre Dame looked pretty good, and they held an explosive, the number 2, I think, ranked offense in the nation, pretty well in check. That's why that's my take on those three. But I know, Robert, you've been a little more interested in if any of y'all else are. I know it's NFL day for y'all, but at 2:00 on NBC, that's where we're racing today. And let me tell you something. That's Talladega, baby. That's a 2.67 mile track, 195 miles an hour, 3 inches off each other. 3 and 4 wide around that place. 3 inches off the front, 3 inches off the back, and about 6 inches off the sides. You get something you need something to do to kill time because your game don't start. Watch a little bit of that race, and you'll be like, "What in the world am I watching?" So, other than that, I gotta bounce out. Wife's already been knocking at the door, telling me we got to go. So, I can't piss mom off. Can't piss mom off.
Right.
I know that's right.
So peace, brothers. Y'all have a good one. Everybody be safe. We'll catch up next
Enjoy
week.
your day, my brother.
Oh, yeah.
All right. See you, bro.
All right.
All right.
Hey, Paul, how was you feeling after watching your squad yesterday? I heard you say they unleashed the beast, so you had to been feeling pretty good yesterday, bro.
They unleashed him and let him play, and I think somebody is been in his ear and telling him, like, on them short throws, you don't got throw fastballs. You don't got this. Boom, they already wide open. And you know what I mean? We still got the most drops in FBS. But I'm saying, like, these dudes, we got this freshman dude, March. I swear, I ain't trying to hype him up because he's on my team, but dude is special. Number 4 for us.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, he's gonna be special. And then the defense, I don't know what Wink be doing. Keep taking our dude Jay Sean Branham out. He don't need to come out. dude is young. If he's not on the defensive end, put him back at middle linebacker. He an impact player. He need to be on the field. So they unleashed him, man. So with that be said, he just got to throw down field more because you see how fast he throw regular. I want to see a deep ball. I want to see a deep ball. That's what I want to see.
Mhm.
We did that without our two starting safeties was out. Big Ten leading rusher, he out. 3 true freshmen on that offensive line. You know what I mean? Like we young, man. We young. We coming.
That's what's up, y'all. Hey, impressive victory yesterday, and big ups, congratulations. It looked like y'all shouldn't lose another game coming into that Ohio State Michigan game.
We shouldn't, but you know how these coaches be, man.
Yeah.
Certain they be trying to hold plays back and everything. We play somebody like Purdue or whatever and don't want to run the plays. Now we get behind the sticks. With fourth quarter, we down 10-14. Now we trying to have these dudes open up. You know what I mean? You know how these coaches be sometimes. Instead of putting it on the gas pedal.
Yeah. And I heard I heard somebody say earlier about Ohio State and playing Ohio State, and you want to try to make them one-dimensional. We started that game off yesterday with, I believe, 7 straight passes, and I freaking loved it. I actually want to be one-dimensional. I really feel like we should be passing to open up the run, especially with our run game not being as powerful as it is. And I think that's what Coach Day may have gave defensive coordinators a glimpse of something to think about. Like, hey, we'll just throw this ball. We ain't got to run the ball. We can throw it all day because we know that's our advantage, and we know that it's going to be hard to stop that on every single possession if we're throwing more than we're running that ball. So I like that we opened up with those 7 straight passes, because I always said here since Ryan Day has been here, pass the ball. Nobody can stop it. You have 2. You might have the top 2 receivers in all of the nation on one team. Tate is looking amazing. With all the attention being given to Jeremiah, Tate is cleaning up. So I want to see us pass the ball. Pass the ball, pass the ball, pass the ball. Now they're on their heels. Now you run the ball and see if we can get that run game going. And if not, pass the ball.
Yeah. Hey, Post, I think your coach tuned into our stream when I told him to run the ball with them two backs. I think he tuned in, man. He had to, because after I said that, y'all been running the ball ever since.
Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, just monsters, man. What could I say? Over 200 rushing yards for Jeremiah Love. Jadarian Price is just money, man. When we need a play, Price is just money. And there's a reason Mel Kiper has them ranked as the RB1 and RB3 in his first positional rankings for the draft. Those dudes are just special, man. They just are, man. And if Notre Dame was undefeated, Jeremiah Love would be my Heisman favorite. But yeah, big win, man. We stay in the playoff hunt. We get a bye next week. We able to enjoy this, relax, and get ready for the remaining schedule, which we should go undefeated, but able to pick up a top 25 win against a super explosive USC offense. Leonard Moore, the cornerback, our number 1 cornerback. I don't think anybody can deny it. That's the best corner in the country. Coverage, nobody's close. The way he was, and you're not gonna completely stop a Makai Lemon, but the way he was able to contain him and keep him from keep them from having those explosive downfield plays, which nobody else has been able to do. Man, you gotta give props to him, man. And I think Notre Dame and CJ Carr, quarterback, didn't even play well. He had a bad game, which I expected him to have one at some point, being a redshirt freshman, first time starter. But he had a bad game, and we were still able to beat a USC team. That defense has improved, like I thought they would have, and what I've been saying they've been doing as far as the defensive side of the ball. Defense looks good, man. So Notre Dame is back in the running, and I'm loving it.
Hey, Post, does Love get some love shown to him and get an invitation to New York City?
Yeah, he
Do you believe
should.
he at least gets the invitation?
Yeah, he definitely, man, bruh, he had over 200, and I know USC ain't known for their defense, but it's still a big game. That's a rivalry game. Over 200 yards rushing, and then he has 5 catches, 30 plus yards receiving. That dude just different, bro. He
Yeah,
just
he
is.
nice. He nice. Definitely gonna get a invitation and a trip to New York City for that Heisman thing. But great game by that young man yesterday.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
I had my family over from Indiana, from Elkhart. They were over at the house while that game was on, and of course they had to resort to watching the ticker across the bottom of the screen because I was watching Texas and Kentucky. So of course they was looking at me kind of cross because they want to know what's going on with Notre Dame, and I'm like, hey, you got to look at that ticker because I'm watching Texas right now.
See, that's when you roll out that other TV from the bedroom, man.
Yeah, I could have done that. I could have done that. Scooby wants to know,
Hey,
you know, Gunner should be talked about when speaking on the Heisman. Gunner Stockton from
No,
Georgia.
man, he can't, man. I hate Gunner's game for real, man. I don't like his game. Like, I'm just saying, I don't like his game.
no.
I mean, when you're looking at what Julian's saying and what Ty Simpson are doing right now, you really can't mention a Gunner Stockton in that same breath. But when he's needed to make some plays, man, he's made plays with his arm and with his leg. So maybe next year, like you said, Scooby. But I mean, he's not a bad option. But as far as for the Heisman, he shouldn't be in that discussion. But he is playing some really good football for Georgia right now. He's answering a lot of the critics, and me being one of them, being a Texas Longhorns fan, he's definitely answering some of the criticisms I've had about him in terms of being able to throw the ball down the field and being able to win with his arm when he needs to make plays, because he's been doing that the last couple of games, especially in the big game against Tennessee. Even though they lost to Alabama, I think he did enough for them to win that game as well. Their defense just needed to make a stop. And yesterday he played really well as well. So maybe next year we'll be talking about him. I just hope when my Longhorns come to Athens, we're able to slow him down and get a win on the road in Georgia.
Y'all gonna put a spy on him. They don't put spies on what's the name. They ain't had no spy on Pavia yesterday. I ain't understand that.
Yeah, you
Why
got a spy.
Pavia ain't have a spy, man. He taking off, and that the whole team looking to the right. He running to the left, wide open. I'm like, they don't got no spy on this dude.
Yeah,
Bro, that's why Brian Kelly going Brian Kelly, bro.
Yeah. Yep, every Sunday we do. Yep. He said he subbed up every Sunday.
Yep. Every Sunday at 9 a.m. we right here.
Not just Sunday though.
Yeah, we're here Saturday morning at 8 a.m. We're here on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well at 7:45 and Wednesdays at multiple times. You just have to hit that bell on either one of our platforms, and then you'll get the notification when we're going. And our platforms are scrolling across the bottom. You can see them there. WTP for Life, Level Up Sports Team, Parlay Poe at Blitzburg, podcast. We got our man Post Game 86, and then City League TV as well. So and FanDuel he ain't got them suckers in order, and you got SEC Sean as well.
Yeah.
All right, so if y'all ain't got nothing else, man, we can go ahead and wrap it up, man, and enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy this NFL action, and then we'll be talking again soon.
Peace.
All right,
love y'all, man. Have a great Sunday, fellas.
Yeah, love y'all too, man. Y'all be safe. Peace.
So.
There we go.